Hey guys, we got this 2008 Buick Lucerne in today, and these have a common issue where these plastic elbows that are part of the belt tensioner housing assembly, they crack off. And here's the end of it here. You can see it just breaks right where the O-ring seats in that groove, basically the end of this thing. I'll show you on the car where that is. So the housing assembly bolts on right in this location, and you've got two coolant hoses coming out the top that go to your heater core, and then those two elbows, one goes in here and then the other one goes in a hole to the intake manifold just underneath of this valve here. So
what liter engine? 3.8?
This one's a 3.8 liter. Now Dorman does make replacement upgraded aluminum elbows, which is great. As we all know, plastic doesn't last forever. It goes through so many hot cold cycles, it eventually stresses and cracks, it gets fragile. So yeah, I'm gonna be changing those out. I just thought I would show you, that's kind of a common thing. I'll show you the part number for these elbows. Like I say, these are the Dorman ones. There's the part number up there, 47065 HP. It's not too hard to really take this off, honestly. You just need some pliers, 10 mil socket, 15 mil socket, and some patience. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna get these out and clean them up and get these ones installed. The way this thing has to come off and go on, you need the elbows to be already installed, ready to go. Once you get all the bolts and all that stuff out, you pretty much just have to, it sits in there like this, and you have to slide the whole assembly out like so. But what I wanted to tell you was the end, that piece that broke off, has a tendency to fall into the inside of the intake manifold. And if you leave it in there, there's a chance that the coolant will allow it to flow along the manifold. And then where does it go? Right to where the thermostat is. So I had to make sure that I got that out of there. You can barely even see the hole from the outside where it is, and it's such a pain. But I was actually able to use my video scope, and I cut a piece of coat hanger, and I could just stick it in there and watch with the coat hanger and actually fish it out. It wasn't too hard, but without the video scope, you're doing it blind. You could be there for hours and not even get it. So I'm gonna get this thing cleaned up, and I'm gonna get it installed. All right, I got the holes cleaned out here. I'm just putting a small amount of dielectric grease on the inside of the hole so the O-ring slips in very nice. And then we'll get this thing installed. I might give this thing a little bit of a cleaning just before I install it. Courtesy thing, you know? All right, so we've got our little pipes on there. We just have to line them up. It's kind of tricky because you can't see what you're doing. So that one goes in there, and the other one needs to go down further. I wonder if I got those in backwards. I think I did. I think I did get those in backwards. Did I get those in backwards? I don't know. Might be in too far, maybe. And that one lined up. Okay, that's it. All right, so it's kind of silly. The bore that those pipes go into, you can slide them in too far. You got about that much distance that you can move them in or out.
It's variable length.
Yeah, variable length. Anyhow, that's in. The three bolts that hold it in, they're all 15 millimeter bolts. They're all the same length. There's two that you'll be able to visually see. There's one here, another one that's down a little bit right there, and then there's one in the back that you'll be able to feel it if you feel around the side. So I'm just gonna get those hands started, the alternator as well. Pretty much all the bolts are 15 mil, and then the only 10 mil is for this brace bracket that runs off the alternator. I'll show you that when we get there. Snugging these all down, sort of one at a time here. And then I'm going to torque them down to spec. All right, all the bolts that hold this housing assembly on get torqued to 37 foot-pounds. When the alternator goes on, we've got a couple bolts. There's one of these ones, it's 37 foot-pounds. This one's 18, but the nut that goes on is 37 foot-pounds. And this one is 18 foot-pounds. Okay, we get these ones all snug down here. So the longer bolt goes in here and the shorter one goes in the back. And then the one that's got the stud sticking out the top goes right there. We're just gonna torque all these things down. And then we'll put the brace piece on that goes from that stud down to the top of the valve cover, right along here. This one back here gets torqued to 18, remember. Let's get that brace on there. Whoop, went a little over on that one. Good there. Get this wire on here. Apparently this nut gets torqued to 15 foot-pounds. For all you guys out there that want to torque your stuff. Hey, question for you. Does your engine cover also cut into your power wire? Because that's what's happening to this one. And it's also cutting into this shift cable over here. Just take a look at all your pulleys, make sure that all the belts are situated on all the pulleys properly. Also, when you're putting your belt on, take a look down in here and you can see there's actually a sensor just beside. You can kind of just see it there. Just watch, make sure your belt does go underneath of that sensor and not over top of it. It's made out of plastic, breaks easily, so pay attention to what you're doing. All right, we get these heater hoses back on. Just a tension clamp that needs to go into place. There's one, there's the other one. Looks like they have a black one that's towards the outside of the car. Silver clamp for the hose that's on towards the other way, driver's side. Okay, now I'm just gonna add some coolant and then we'll fire this thing up. I'm using GM's Dex Cool. This is the, well, it's Dex Cool but made by Z-Rex. I left the connector unplugged or something.